4 free Minecraft capes, a free Minecraft account, and a new Minecraft update with several changes. Hello there, Ray here, and we just got a brand new update for Minecraft, and that is 1.21.2 pre-release 1. This means we are going to see the full release of 1.21.2 coming up very soon. I would say it's going to come out before Halloween, because the way it works is they're going to put out a few different pre-releases, and these are going to focus on just fixing bugs that came up ever since they added in these most recent changes. And then after they feel like they fixed all the major problems, they're going to come out with release candidates, and release candidates are considered versions that shouldn't have any major problems. And then once they actually confirm that there's no major problems, they'll come out with the full release of 1.21.2. But what's actually going to be in this new full release? Well, this one is the Bundles of Bravery drop, which is going to actually include the bundles into the main game after all of these years, which also includes the chunk loading, which can be done with ender pearls, and it made some cool devices to go along with it, like this wireless teleporting machine that can teleport you any amount of distance, including my new flying chunk loading machines, which can be added in with the TNT dupers to create infinite destruction. You can find both those videos down below. Java also gets some new banner patterns, as well as a whole bunch of other minor changes. But this full release also gives you the option to run experimental things, so you can try out the new type of minecarts, or the new redstone experiments, or even the older villager trading rebellions. But you can also try out the new winter drop, which includes the new pale garden biome, including all the different types of pale wood, and the creaking hearts and the creaking mob. But remember, this is just considered experimental, so if you don't turn this on, you won't actually get this in the next full release. And this winter drop will be coming out in a future full release. We don't know exactly which one it's going to be. It could be 1.22 or it could just be 1.21.3. But either way, it's going to be a little while before we actually see this in the full game. Most likely we'll get this kind of in early December, just before the actual Christmas holiday. So hopefully understand what's all experimental and what's going to come in a future release, including what's going to come in the most recent full release. Now, when we got this new pre-release, we also got some new features along with it, and one of them has to do with the little air bubbles that show up when you're underwater. So if you take a look right here, you can see when the air bubbles vanish, they pop and they turn into these little solid dots. And then they start to wobble now. This is all new. And then when you go up and get air, you can see they replace the little dots with actual full air bubbles. So this new UI is going to make it easier for people to see. Even though they run out of air, they can still see that that's where the air is supposed to be, and since they're wobbling, players will hopefully know that they need to grab some more air, kind of similar to when the player runs out of food and need to eat some more. We also got a new game rule, which you can access if you have commands enabled. So game rule, there's disable. Now, before we had this one called Elytra movement check. That way you wouldn't accidentally get kicked from servers if you flew in kind of odd ways with your Elytra with a bad connection. But now they recently added a disabled player movement check. So this one will do a similar thing as the Elytra one. And by default, this is set to false. So this means the game will normally check, see if the player's movement speed, and will restrict it to a certain speed. This is most likely to stop people using like hack clients to make themselves go super fast, but you can set this to true, which means that the movement check will be disabled. Kind of confusing the way it's worded. So if you find yourself getting kicked from the server because you're moving too quickly and you want to stop getting kicked from the server, you can come in and change that game rule. Now, they also made changes to the experimental features, being the winter drop, which includes the creaking heart. Now, I showed how the creaking heart can be detected with an observer when it changes, such as like when it changes from daytime to nighttime, or how it can be turned off and then detected when a player comes in loading the chunks as a wireless redstone detector. But they added a new feature in today, and that is we can now use comparators to actually read the creaking heart to see how far away the creaking actually is from it. So if we put this comparator outside of this creaking heart, and this one has summoned in a creaking just over here, it now puts off a redstone signal, and the power of that redstone signal will vary on how far the creaking is from its heart. So seeing as the creaking can go out 32 blocks away from its heart without it being removed from the game, that would mean that every time it increases in a redstone signal, it moved out approximately 2 meters. So let's go ahead and put this to the test. Go into survival and we turn away from the creaking, it'll come towards us. So now if we check the redstone signal, we can see it's getting stronger as it's getting closer. So now it has a power of 14. And if it gets really close to it, you can see it has a power of 15, which is the maximum. This would be really nice, so you can make like a mini game where as the creaking gets closer, certain things can occur. Or you can also use this just as a player detector. You can detect when a player actually moves into a certain area without actually having any kind of redstone signals around the player. Because sometimes you work in really tight, compact areas where you can't actually have any redstone like detecting the player. And this way you could detect it using the creaking. We could always reset the creaking's location by pushing it back with some water, and then having it try to move towards the player again as a way to detect if the player is in the area. Now, since the creaking is spawned in based off of if the player is close enough to its heart, we can also use this as kind of a player detector. Once the player gets within range, which is about 32 blocks, it will immediately spawn in a creaking, and it also change the redstone signal here so we can detect if the player is in a really big area as well. But let me know if you think there's anything else that could be done with this. Now, another thing that they changed in this version is that the creaking will actually move even if the player is in creative mode. Before, the player who was in creative mode would act very similar to survival mode. So if you would actually look at the creaking, it wouldn't move. And if you turn your back, it would start moving towards you, even though you were in creative. But now that they changed this, it should be a little bit easier to play around and test these guys, as we can actually watch them do their kind of normal walking around. And we can even watch them chase after other players without interfering with them. Now, they also changed it so that we cannot name tag these creakings that come from the creaking heart. So if I just try and right click it with a name tag, it doesn't actually put anything on it. And this was mildly useful. If you watched my previous video on all the cool tricks you can do with the creaking, I'll have that linked below if you haven't already seen it. But one of the tricks I actually did was I name tagged it. And then even though I went really far away with the player, it wouldn't actually vanish or despawn. But now that we can't name tag it, it will actually do this, and this is only mildly helpful as the creaking overall has been heavily restricted, so there's not too much you can do with it. You can't apply it into a machine or farm very easily just because it will immediately despawn during daytime or if the chunks are unloaded. This pre-release also gives the ability for players to add their own little overlays for things that people equipped onto them. So you can do something similar like this pumpkin here, but apply it to any type of armor that the player wears. They also made sure if you don't have these experimental snapshots turned on, you will no longer get the new pale oak sapling from trading wandering traders, as these guys can sell every type of tree sapling. This included the new tree, which you can actually get without actually having access to this experimental feature. And they made it so that these saplings, when looked at with a map, will show the correct color. They also made it so when items are thrown out of the bundle, they will throw out more smoothly rather than lag every once in a while. They also fixed a problem where furnaces were actually deleting stuff inside them when they were reloaded. Command blocks that you would have in your inventory would sometimes lose all their information, and execute commands were not working properly when teleporting players across different dimensions. But it seems like that fix has actually broken command blocks, so now some command blocks don't even work in this snapshot. They also fixed a bunch of bugs that were accidentally introduced during these snapshots, some to do with the experimental winter drop, but most to do with problems with visuals, as well as modified data packs, command block related problems, and even one game crash related to realms. And today, Bedrock Edition finally got access to the Pale Gardens, as well as the Creaking mob. So if you guys play on that edition, you can access it through the betas. There is something interesting that the Bedrock players got that is new to the game, and that is people that are playing on easy mode or peaceful mode will now automatically keep their inventory upon a death, so they won't lose their items, they won't fall all over the floor, or you have to run back and collect them. It says it's something new that they're trying out. They do have a whole feedback page, even says you'll keep your experience levels, but what do you think of this? Guys, you did it! We reached 400,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Thanks every one of you who just took that time to hit that subscribe button. And as my way to say thank you to you guys, we got 2 giveaways going on. You can win a family pack of 4 for the new Minecraft Experience in Real Life event. To be eligible for that one, you just need to head over to my Twitter or X and follow what it says there, which means you can get 4 of the upcoming new Minecraft capes, but you do have to be able to attend it in Texas, United States. So check that out after this video, and thanks for Minecraft Experience for these tickets. The second giveaway is a Minecraft account code. Thanks to Marpy for donating this. To be eligible for the second giveaway, the Minecraft account, all you have to do is be subscribed to me here on YouTube. Make sure you have those that you're subscribed to visible. That way I can confirm that you're actually subscribed to me. And leave a comment saying you want the account and why you want the account. and I'll choose one at the end of the month and I'll reply to you with this YouTube account, so don't fall for any scams. If you haven't subscribed, this is a great opportunity. Plus, it'll also help us get close to 500,000 subs. Not only did we reach 400,000 subscribers, we're also well beyond 1,000 videos and over 85 million total views. Plus, it was recently my YouTube channel's 16th birthday. 16 years ago, I started my YouTube channel, and over the years, I was able to teach so many Minecrafters about the cool things you can do in Minecraft, from tricks to redstone to farms, and even after all these years, I still enjoy Minecraft and never seem to get bored of it. But how did you first come across my channel? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for sharing what I do with other Minecrafters, as it really helps me out. I'll put more information about the giveaways in my pinned comment below. Now come chill in my live stream as I design an automatic pale oak tree farm. And by watching my streams on Twitch and TikTok, you can get these new Minecraft masks before they expire. Thanks for all the support, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!